पर उपकार. I must have said lots of things about Christ before and how Jesus Christ is related to Sri Radhaji. That he is the incarnation of Sri Ganesha, who was the son of the Adishakti to begin with. But then he was given to Sri Radhaji. And Sri Radha created as Mahalakshmi, as Mother Mary, this great incarnation of Christ. Now for the Western mind, it is impossible to understand how there can be a immaculate conception, because they have no sense at all, no sensitivity at all to spiritual life. We Indians can understand it. It's very easy for Indians to understand because we had Sri Ganesha created that way. We just believe it, we don't doubt these things. Whatever is said about God is not to be doubted with this limited brain. That's not done in India. But in the West, from the very birth of Christ, they have had arguments with this limited brain they had. And the whole religion, in the name of Christ, is just a perversion. Such a horrible things have been said that is unbelievable. His purity, his holiness, his auspiciousness is never understood in the West. I think those who follow Christianity, how can they be so debased in their moral character? They are all right for their political, their economical, we can say their legal side. But their moral sense is absolutely missing. It's very surprising. Those who are followers of Christ should have the greatest amount of morality. He has said that thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Such a subtle thing. Even the eye should not have adultery, should not have lust and greed. Such a subtle thing he has said it. And just think, in the West, people could not follow it because the whole religion got perverted under the influence of Paul and Peter. It's a very serious thing they have done against Christ. It's still going on. Still this Catholic Church, though being exposed so much, is still going on in India also. All over this Protestant church also is going on everywhere. What good name have they brought to Christ? One should see. The first and foremost thing he has said, that you must enter into the kingdom of God, that you must be born again. So it's all mental, you are born again, you have a certificate, we are born again, finished. So this mental attitude of the West is responsible for killing the great incarnation of Christ. I think is another crucifixion. Mentally you cannot understand spirituality. So they were telling me about brain trust. I said, brain trust I can't understand in Sahjayogis. In Sahjayogis, what is the brain trust? Where is the brain? In thoughtless awareness, where is the brain? So this brain trust business might be all right for any other place, but for Sahjayogis I still don't understand what do you do in brain trust. Because some people want to come on the stage and speak, you see, they have a kind of a madness, they can't get over it. So they might be coming to the brain trust, maybe, but it's not brain, it's the heart. It's the heart which has to be opened out. Because with brain, what we do is all kinds of materialism, All kinds of nonsense has come from human brain only, not so much from animal's brain. You can see if you go to any forest, it's clean, nice, smelling so well. But put one human being there and you will know that this filth, dirt has come from some human being. So as it is, they have made a mess of all the great incarnations, but worst is done to Christ. And I feel what a waste it was. So we must understand Christ in the right sense. He is the eternal child. He is the innocence itself. He is the source of innocence. And He is the bestower of all blessings in all chakras. But that doesn't mean that you are Christians, you should be very proud that, oh, she's talking about Christ. Many, I have seen Sahjayogis, are still identified with Christ, while they have nothing to do with Christ at all. Now one has to understand that how Christ in His miraculous life has shown so many miracles. First of all, His birth was immaculate. Any kind of birth is immaculate. They are beyond sins. They are special people. They may come as human beings, they may come as angels, they may come as anything. They are divine, and we should understand that this little brain of ours cannot discuss about them and talk about them, but is to just surrender and worship them. They are much beyond us. So for the Western mind, it is important to understand that the life of Christ was such a blessing for them that they have lost it, they have wasted it, and they have never understood how to respect it. The whole thing became like a political, economical, nonsensical fraud. I had told you long time back that how we can prove that Christ was Ganesha. And He was the Logos, He was the, what we call is the Brahmanad, the first sound. By looking at your left side from the right side, if you see the Muladhara, you will see swastikas, because it is made of carbon atom. If you see from left to the right, you can see Omkara. And if you see from down upward, it looks like Alpha and Omega. In those days, Christ has said, I am the Alpha and I am the Omega. And now we have made the animation, we have no arrangement to show you there. I don't know if you could arrange it somehow. But you can see clearly what I have said can be proved. So as you worship Ganesha, you must worship Christ in the same manner for all those who worship Ganesha. Because I have seen that Hindus, they are stuck to Ganesha. Our Christians are stuck to Christ. Even after coming to Sahjayoga, they carry those traits. Ganesha is all right up to a point, and then it is important we must pray to His incarnation, that is Christ. In the same way, those who worship Christ must also worship Ganesha, because he is the source. He is the potential of Christ. All this was in the divine plan, done with divine discretion. Everything was done so beautifully. But as I told you, human beings are good at massacring anything that is beautiful. And that's how it has happened. It's very, very sad. And on his birthday today, we have to decide that he is to be born within us again in a proper way. That he is the Alpha and the Omega. At that time of his time, I didn't know that anybody knew about these symbols. These symbols also must have come from unconscious to some of the great mathematicians in long time, and that's why these symbols are used exactly like alpha and omega. You see him clearly. It is so clear cut now in Sahjayogis. We can prove so many things, all tangible. How Christ used to cure people. What did he do? It's all tangible. We can prove it now in Sahjayogis. How it works, how these powers work. But we have to first of all cleanse our lives. We have to lead a very honest, powerful and pure life. I've seen those stalls outside. I told them not to put up any stalls here, because they are making profit for themselves, not for Sahjayogis. Once Christ saw like that, and he took a hunter and hit all of them. Now I can't do that. One should not encourage these people. It's not a shopping center here. You have come for meditation. It's all right if you need anything. We have bought things for you. If you buy them, there might be little profit, may not be, but that will go to Sahjayogis. It's not going to be used for any private purpose. But these people from outside come and put up a stall and you all run about. Means you are still hanging around with that thing. You have come here for what? One should be all the time meditative in ganpatipule. All the time. You should be in a meditative condition and shouldn't get to these mundane things which you always do outside also. But these people know that you still have those weaknesses. That's why they have put up the stalls. Leaders should stop all this nonsense. I've told not to eat outside. Last time all of you suffered because of that. But still the stalls are on. That means they know there are some culprits who would like to buy things from them and get sick and bring bad name to Sahjayogis. So the first thing of Ganesha is that wisdom. And that wisdom we see in the life of Christ. From the very beginning, he was so confident of it, that at the age of 12 years, he went and talked to these Parsis, means the people who were priests. We still have priests and mullahs and these bhajis and all of them, these so-called dharma martandas all over. Well, he went and argued with them at that young age. And he must be saying, what are you doing here? What is this? What are you talking? All lip service. He was discussing and talking to them, but his parents perhaps were frightened that these people might kill him, so they brought him to India. He came to India for wisdom. I don't know where is that wisdom missing now from Indians. But must be this country was full of wisdom when he came and stayed in India. And we have lots of memories about him. Even the King Shalivahana met him. Is described in his book that he met a man in Kashmir who was very saintly, and he asked him, what's your name? He said, my name is Isa. See now, imagine, Isa. E is the word used in Vedas for the Adishakti. Sa means with. He said, my name is Isa. He said, from what country you come? He said, I come from a country which is foreign to me, and this is my country. So this India, the Bharat, the Hindustan, was the country of spirituality. And one should not try to compete and feel inferior to other countries who have gone up materially higher. You don't know where they are. But we should be spiritually high. That's what Christ said. This is my own country. It's clearly written. That means Christ recognized that this country of spirituality is his own. So we belong to that country of spirituality and not to the materialistic or to the mundane or the baser type of life. In his lifetime, which was so very short, whatever he has said, every word is great. But as I told you, that this Paul tried to completely change, re-edit the Bible, and he's put lots of things in there. Whatever weaknesses he has put there nicely. Now recently I have got a book which was hidden in a jar in Egypt for about till 50 years. They discovered it. And this book is called as the Library of Hamadi. The place was called Hamadi, where it was discovered. And what Christ has said, what Thomas has written, when Thomas was coming to India, he put all these things. It's very interesting. About drinking, he said, drinking begets debauchery. It's a bad word to use. And while Christians don't know, on the contrary, they think that drinking is allowed in Christianity very nicely. Was he mad to allow drinking? How can he allow drinking which goes against your awareness? But they thought it was nice. And that's what people have been using as a big attraction, that you can drink in Christianity. So in the other religion, like Catholic religion, you could have only once the marriage. So they have one marriage and 10 keeps. Is all right, allowed. The Bible is written. Only you can have one marriage, you cannot divorce. So do what you like. No sense of morality. And everything came like a derailment towards themselves. They accepted one after another all kinds of nonsense. And the basic thing of Christ's life is morality. He is on the left side, as you can see from Sri Ganesha. And then he establishes himself at Agya. But morality is the essence of his life. What we call in Indian language is character. Our character is how we lead a life of purity. We indulge into all kinds of nonsense. I mean, if you go to the West, you'll be amazed what things they do. I mean, you cannot even believe it, and I cannot even mention it to you. You won't believe that these so-called advanced countries are advancing towards what? Impossible. We cannot conceive it even. Such an impurity, such a horrible, destructive immorality. And I don't know from where it comes. I think something wrong with genetics. From where do they get these ideas? One after another. It's impossible to believe these people doing all these things and then nicely dress up and go to church on Sunday, pray to God and come back. Now it is for you to decide. You have to pull out all these people in your own countries. And you have to tell them, this is all nonsense in the name of Christ and in the name of God. You have to come up and talk about it. Same about Sri Ganesh. I have seen in Pune, I was surprised, there was Ganesh Mahotsav. Everybody was drinking nicely. The horrible dirty songs, some western songs, some horrible cinema songs put up there, and everybody was using as a disco in front of Sri Ganesh. Sahjayogis should go and object to this kind of a nonsense that how could dare they drink in the presence of Sri Ganesh? No wisdom of Sri Ganesha, no respect for his auspiciousness. Now, not only drinking, doing all kinds of things. Sri Ganesha has been shown by these tantrikas as something so horrible, which is also done by so many psychologists, so-called, in the West. Thank God one of them, this Mr. Freud, is exposed now. So the another quality of Ganesha is shown in Christ's life is the devotion to Mother. In that book, Mary is telling them about knowledge. But this Paul objects to it. And she says that this is what you have to achieve. But he doesn't want to. He's arguing with her. But then Thomas said that what Christ has said on the cross, behold the Mother. She is the mother of Christ, and how dare you insult her? But just the opposite, Paul never respected women, so he he called her as just a woman. No respect. For Mahalakshmi, no respect. Can you imagine? Just a woman. And a big controversy going on these so-called advanced people, whether the women should be ordained as priests or not. We think we are very backward, but I think we are so backward in religion. Nonsense. We had Gargi, Maitreyi, such people here, and we respect the Mother as the Adi Shakti. She is the one, we call her the one who has created us. She is the one who looks after us. For us, she is important, Shakti is important. They don't call her Shakti, but a woman. And supposed to be very advanced people. And all other nonsense they do in the name of advancement, it's impossible to tell. So my words fall short, feel so ashamed in the name of Christ. Today now when we are celebrating the pure life of Christ, He came on this earth. They can't believe that He could have been so pure. A criminal cannot believe that others could be non-criminal. So we have to, within ourselves, see if we have developed that purity of mind that expresses through our eyes. Eyes have to become innocent. Otherwise they have no effect. If you are hankering after attracting other people and charming other people and all that, you are not a Sahjayogi. There's no need. Once the light is within yourself, people will know. As Sahjayogis, you have to have the light of Christ in your own life. He was a young man who came on this earth. And how he did. He had nothing to do with Mary Magdalene, who was a prostitute. But he stood by truth. And when people started stoning her, he stood up and said, those who have not committed any sin can throw the stone at me. What a strength of truth. So not that only He was a pure personality, but purity also is expressed in truth. And his compassion and love. Such compassion he has expressed. Such compassion. I think Sri Ganesha got a little transformation. Sri Ganesha is definitely very compassionate to people who are worshipping him. But those who go against them, he hits them hard. He doesn't bear. They have to suffer. AIDS, this, that, everything comes. But those who are pure people, Sri Ganesha protects. But Christ is compassionate, he forgives. Because he believes that there could be a transformation. At the level of Sri Ganesha, he thinks it's better that let them be killed and be born again, because they're so impure. But Christ had hopes that he can transform people, but he could not. They crucified him. What wonderful people they must have been to crucify Christ. Brainless, we should call them. Absolutely without any understanding about spirituality. Very insensitive to true knowledge. So for Sahjayoga, only the wise can follow. It is not meant for stupid, idiotic people, nor it is meant for very smart ones. Some people think they are very smart because they are successful in life, they can say some smart sentences, they can say something very outstandingly, very sharp. It's not meant for that. For that Christ has said, meek in heart will inherit the earth. Meek in heart. Not those who think too much of themselves, but who are meek in heart will inherit the earth. Among Sahjayogis also, only those who are meek in heart will inherit the blessings of Mother. You have to be meek. You have to be wise. With wisdom you will become meek. Because then you will see where are we into this great cosmos. That you will feel that you have entered into this kingdom of God. For what? How? How have we come? How have we entered here? So many tried, thousands of years, sacrificing this, sacrificing that, standing on their heads, fasting. How is it suddenly we got this blessing? How are we there? When we start looking at this, we become meek. It's the blessing, the grace. It's not through our ego, through our conditioning, but it's just the grace, the compassion, the love, the Sandra Karuna. And then you enjoy your transformed life, the new dimension of spirituality, which is in reality. Now you know reality, you know totality, you know everything. But those who have not known themselves have not become Sahjayogis. Tukaram has said in very simple words, Apana sidani le jani. The one who has known himself is the last one. You can judge the chakras of others, but you can't judge your own chakras. You can introspect others, you can judge others, but you cannot judge yourself. If you know everything about others, but about yourself you don't know anything, then you are not Sahjayogis. First thing you must know yourself. What sort of a ego stuff I am doing? What sort of a conditioning I have got? Even now, people have so many conditionings. So there's a new discipline of Sahjayoga. In the new discipline, you have to be meek, humble, and You have to be wise. Every step of yours, every talk of yours, everything should express wisdom. And the search discipline, which automatically stops you from doing wrong things. Now say I am walking down and some lady suddenly falls at my feet. Without even understanding that I am just walking, I may fall down or catches hold of my feet. It's all self-oriented. I should see mother, I should go and meet her, I touched her feet. It's all ego. A Sahjayogi stands in the back. Real Sahjayogi is at the back. From there he can enjoy because he knows I am everywhere. He doesn't want to see me, nothing. Just like this, stand. He doesn't force his way in any way. Mother is here. But this is what it is, Christ has said, meek in heart. There's a very big word, meek, and people don't understand meek because in the West if you are meek, people say you are weak, you have to be aggressive. If they have to praise somebody, they'll say, oh, he is very good, he is very aggressive. I think their genetics are a little lower than normal. Must be some animals in them. Otherwise, how can they think that to be aggressive is being something higher? It's impossible. How can a person who is supposed to be a higher person could be like a devil? How could Hitler say that he was a higher race when he was himself a devil? It's very nice for a devil to say I am a higher race. So in dealing in Sahaja Yoga, the sweetness of natural meekness, not artificial, of a businessman, but a natural one that makes you shine with your great, great spirituality. Nobody can touch. I have told you, except for you. You can only fall down. But nobody can touch. You are all protected from every angle. But if you want to hit yourself, I can't help. So again we come to Tukarama saying, as Christ has said, know thyself. First and foremost thing of introspection is know thyself. What you are doing, are you trying to look at yourself or not? He has also said that we see a big beam into the eyes of others, then it's all right. But the beam is in your eyes, and you start seeing the beam in others' eyes, and that's the point. So in your meditation, you have to sit down and first of all introspect. O Christ, O Sri Ganesha, please give me wisdom to see myself and understand what's wrong. And understand where do I lack all the qualities of a good surgeon. Just to meditate, and you'll feel so happy, so joyous, because virtue within you gives you joy. But you don't say I'm virtuous, you don't say that. But the virtue within you, when you discover, that gives you joy, and not your bad qualities and your hankerings, your lust and greed. No, it does not. So we must really concentrate. Even coming to Sahaja Yoga, people think how I can use it for, say, faith. Leadership, you see, is another myth. Then they sometimes think, why not use it for making some money somehow? Some sort of a business they start. don't do any business with Sahjayoga or Sahjayoga. I've told 100 times. If you do it, you'll be in trouble. And then don't come and tell me the trouble. Sahjayoga is only God's business. Everything that you are doing is for God. And that's why you are doing it for yourself. So introspection is very important. Criticizing others should be less. Criticizing yourself and laughing at yourself is less. I laugh at myself many a times and say many things like that, if you have noticed. That makes life so interesting. That will kill your ego. How I am trying to assert myself, and where is the meekness that Christ has talked about? It is a natural goodness within us. Once it shines and shows, it becomes so beautiful, so lovable. Whether you are sitting here near me or there, I know who is that guy. My heart just opens for such a personality. I know who they are. But even if I know, I will never tell you. It is better that you know yourself. Know thyself is his message. In the real way, not with deception, because you are deceiving yourself. Whom are you deceiving? Know thyself without any deception, without any lies, with full concentration. See where is your attention going. That's how you are going to rise. You are not going to rise by seeing the defects of others, but you are going to rise only by seeing your own defects. Exactly this what Christ has said. I am telling you in very, very simple words. Then he has said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Which is a very, very big thing to say. Now is only possible in Sahjayoga, because you are collective. Those who are not collective, how can they love their neighbor? I mean, who is the neighbor then? Nobody is a neighbor. They are outsiders. But as soon as you become collective, see today there are 55 nations. We are also collective, so moral, so beautiful, no complications, nothing. I am so overjoyed to see that. But to make it perfect, we should introspect. Socially, collectively, you people have improved a lot. But also individually, within yourself, you have to improve for your own goodness. So on this great occasion, we have to celebrate, because really such a great amount of work was done by Christ, though neutralized by these horrible priests, which is done in every country, in every religion. But now we should take a vow to save others who are taking the name of Christ and doing something just the opposite. If it could be done, if it could be achieved through your lives, Christ's work has been done. You have to now express Christ through your life. This is what it is. Through your life you can express Him. Through the purity, through the meekness, through the compassion and the wisdom of Christ. Absolutely fearless was He. And that's why you have to be fearless, because you have to be only afraid of God and nobody else. That's all. And if you have done nothing wrong, there's nothing to be afraid of God also, because He loves you. So be clear-cut about everything. Be understanding. You are all lovable people, no doubt, but you should be such that you can adore yourself and love yourself because of the virtues you have. May God bless you all.